Only request is to keep questions concise and articulate them briefly so that all of us will get an opportunity to ask our questions. If I see hands up again, I'll stay on that side. There's a young lady in pink. Yeah? You can get him.
Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Sit, whatever.
Assalamu alaikum, sir. I'm Haq Kakar from Sheen, Balochistan.
Oh, did you know her?
No.
I'm a fourth-year medical student here. First of all, I would like to express my gratitude for your presence here. It's truly an honor to have you address us. So my question is basically on the healthcare situation of Quetta. I know this topic has been brought on multiple occasions, but I think so it never got the required attention. So as we know, there was a recent outbreak of Congo virus in Quetta, and 12 or more healthcare workers of ours got infected. And unfortunately, we lost few of them. And if I recall properly, there was a similar outbreak that happened in 2011.
Yeah, carry on.
And we lost 2 of our healthcare workers. So fast forward 12 years, and instead our healthcare to get to better or even remain stable, it has even gotten worse. So even during this recent outbreak, there was lack of necessary facilities to prevent the spread, to treat those affected individuals. We even didn't have the required timely availability of air ambulances and other facilities to shift those critical patients to a better tertiary care hospital in Karachi. And if it was there, maybe we would have saved those lives. So my question is, what are your plans, or what is the government planning to do about it? Or is this topic will be kept aside as it has been the case in the past? Thank you.
First of all, I'm so glad to see you, hailing from Pishin, from the same tribe, and you are having quite a remarkable contribution over here, and I'm very proud of that. Keep doing the good job, and inshallah we'll have a hospital in Quetta one day under your leadership. These are the challenges of the governance which we need to understand. You know, there was a political discourse for last many years and for almost many decades, if I would say it, that all the provinces wanted more autonomy. And as a result of that, 2008, we get 18th Amendment and the financial and political power that are transferred to the provinces. With a caveat that after that, it had to be followed by a provincial finance commission. The process halted there, and we got an NFC. The 18th Amendment is there. The concurrent list from the federal government was diluted, and now all the provinces have got their more political and financial powers. And health is a devolved subject. Now, when health is a devolved subject, what do? You can, well, of course, federal government to an extent can play some role, but when you have given all the money to the province, it is now their discretion that how do they spend it. I'm saying this with pain. I'm not enjoying it. I don't blot over. The kind of capacity we have at the provinces, particularly political and bureaucratic, is part of the problem. Is part of the problem. You do not see any kind of visionary leadership either in bureaucracy or in political class. So where is the planning section? I mean, you have got a hospital in the heart of the town which is what, more than 100 years old almost. It was constructed somewhere in 1920s or 1930s, early 1930s, for the population of 8,000 to 9,000 people. And now the documented, according to the census, it's 3 million plus population, and the conservative estimate, which is not non-documented, I think so the population is more than 5 million. And the same hospital is providing services, and with this devolution of the power, there is no vision how to magnify, how to amplify the services which is the need of the population. You're talking about the subspecialties and the rest of the ideas associated with it, we do not even have sense of basic health care. How do we do that? And one challenge is there's a scarcity of resource. The other is mismanagement of resource. We need 1,000 rupees, but we've got 100 rupees. And I mismanage those 100 rupees too. So that is the challenge. What do we do with that? It is directly related to our political system, our governance systems. As an individual, after 2 months when I would be retiring from this stint, how much I can do, it would be mere rhetorics or shallow slogans. That is part of the problem. If somebody wants to contribute, I think so they should come and participate in a responsible political process. Until and unless you do not have visionary and good individuals in politics, forget it. Then we will outsource it to these clubs, be it the club of popularity or dispopularity, whatever the case is. But the actual issue of governance would never be attended in this country. This is my honest opinion on that. Thank you.
I turn to the center. There's a young man sitting behind. Please go ahead. If you can get a mic.
Thank you so much, Honorable Prime Minister Saab, ko visit AKU. My name is Vijay Kumar. I am from district Sangar. I am second year nursing student. Sir, my question is that as there is 5% quota for minority in the government job, but sir, as you know, the minority are mostly belonging from the underprivileged area and they belong from the low socio-economic. So sir, they hardly have access about the higher education. So sir, what you can do to maximum opportunity for them to compete to get higher education? Because sir, mostly जो हमारे district सांगड़ या सर interim जो सर students होते हैं, तो सर वो मैट्रिक या इंटरमीडिएट करके स्कूल को लेफ्ट आउट कर देते हैं, क्योंकि सर यूनिवर्सिटीज़ की फीस ज़्यादा होती है, तो सर उसमें माइनॉरिटी स्टूडेंट्स कम ही पार्टिसिपेट करवाते हैं. तो सर इसके लिए कोई इकदाम आप. थैंक यू सर.
थैंक यू विजय. एक तो मैंने 2008 में पहली मरतबा कौमी असम्बली का इलेक्शन लड़ा था. तो आपको पता है कि इलेक्शन के दौरानिए में आपको हर किस्म की कम्युनिटी से वोट की अट्रैक्शन की कोशिश आप करते हैं. तो कोयटा का अगर कोई है उनको पता है कि ईसा नगरी वहाँ पे क्रिश्चियन कम्युनिटी बहुत ज़्यादा हमारी बड़ी तादाद में रहती है. तो जब मैं वहाँ जाता था और उनको रिक्वेस्ट करता था टू कैनवसिंग फॉर द वोटिंग, तो वो कहते थे कि हमारे जो सैनिटेशन की जॉब्स है उसमें मुस्लिम्स आ रहे हैं और ये डिस्क्रिमिनेशन है हमारे अगेंस्ट. तो मुझे आग लग जाती थी और मैं उनको खूब सुलवाते सुनाता था कि यार मैं चाहता हूँ कि तुम्हारा बेटा डॉक्टर बने, कंप्यूटर साइंटिस्ट बने, तुम सैनिटेशन में फंसे हुए. एक तो कम्युनिटी में जो इन्फ्यूज करना है सेंस ऑफ कॉन्फिडेंस, वो सबसे बड़ी बात है. यू आर नॉट अ माइनॉरिटी, यू आर जस्ट someone with diversified background, with a different background. You are equal Pakistani. तुम उतने ही हो जितना मैं हूँ. मेरा नाम माँ बाप ने अनवार रखा, तुम्हारा विजय रख दी. तुम सांगड़ में पैदा हुए हो, मैं कान में तरज़ई किला सिफुला से मेरा ताल्लुक. हमारे अजला मुख्तलिफ. तुम सिंधी बोलते हो, मैं पश्तो बोलता हूँ. हमारे पास विजय कुमार है, वो पश्तो बोलता है. आपके पास कोई अनवार होगा, वो सिंधी बोलता होगा. एक तो जो हमें सोशल लेवल पे जो काम करना है वो ये है, हमारे यहाँ बहुत सारे लोगों ने मुख्तलिफ़ रियासतों के नाम के हवाले से भी सियासत में उनका इस्तेमाल होता है. जो असल में मदीना की रियासत के उसूल थे वो यही है जो मैं आपके साथ बयान कर रहा हूँ. उसमें इक्वालिटी थी, बराबरी थी, जिम्मेदारी के हवाले से, हुकूक के हवाले से. बहुत मशहूर एक वाक़या है कि एक हिपोक्रेसी के तहत, मुनाफिकत के तहत एक मुसलमान का उस वक्त का उसका मसला एक ईमानदार यहूदी के साथ पड़ गया. تو اس نے کہا کہ جی ہمارا یہ جو ڈسپیوٹ ہے اس کی ریزولوشن کیسے کریں. ڈسپیوٹ ریزولوشن میکینزم دنیا میں سب سے مشکل کام ہے. اس نے کہا یار مجھے نہیں پتہ, میں تمہارے جو پیغمبر ہیں ان کی طرف جا رہا ہوں, ان سے کراؤں گا. یہودی نے کہا. وہ جو میری طرح کا تھا اس نے کہا نہیں یار یہ تو میں پھنس جاؤں گا. اس نے کہا نہیں جی وہ جو تم لوگوں کا لیڈر ہے اس سے کراتے ہیں. اس نے کہا نہیں میں اس سے نہیں کرا رہا. They eventually went there اور وہ اس یہودی کے حق میں ہو گئی فیصلہ, کیونکہ وہ میرٹ تھا. جب تک ہم میرٹوکریسی کو انکریج نہیں کریں گے, انفورس نہیں کریں گے, سم ٹائمز ایون پازیٹیو ڈسکریمنیشن خرابی پیدا کرتی. ہمیں مائنورٹیز میں ان کے کوٹے کو بڑھانے کے لیے سماج میں مواقع پیدا کرنے ہوں گے, سوسائٹی میں مواقع پیدا کرنے ہوں گے. ہمیں کھل کے یہ باتیں کرنی ہوں گی جو میں شاید آج اس بند کمرے میں کر رہا ہوں, ہمیں ہر جگہ پہ کرنی ہوں گی. اور وجے کو ویسے میں بائی دا وے آپ کو ایک بات بتاؤں کہ نرسنگ کے پروفیشن کے ساتھ میری بڑی جذباتی وابستگی ہے, اور میں سمجھتا ہوں اٹ از ون آف دا موسٹ نوبل پروفیشن. کاش ہم نرسنگ کو وہ احترام اور وہ سٹیٹس دے سکتے جو وہ ڈیزرو کرتے ہیں. پوری دنیا میں یہ جو آپ ڈاکٹر ہیں وہ یہ تو صرف پیشنٹ کو 2, 4, 8, 10 منٹ کے لیے دیکھتے ہیں, اس کے بعد یہ وارڈ سے نکل جاتے ہیں.
میں اتنا بھی نہیں کرتی.
And they are handed over to the nurses. They are the one who take care of patients and they are the one who are responsible for the so-called nursing care. Or it is one of the most well paid, well respected, well received. جو بڑے بڑے ڈاکٹر میرے دوست امریکہ میں یو کے میں ہیں وہ خوش قسمتی سمجھتے ہیں کہ کسی نرس سے شادی ہو جائے, اس کا سوشل سٹیٹس بڑھ جاتا ہے. اور ایک ہمارے ہاں پتہ نہیں ہم نے اس پروفیشن کے ساتھ کیا ظلم کیا ہوا. تو تم مائنورٹی سے زیادہ اپنے اس پروفیشن کے لیے ایڈوکیسی کرو. یور آئیڈینٹی ایز اے نرس از مور امپورٹنٹ دین یور آئیڈینٹی ایز وجے. اور سوسائٹی کو, اسٹیٹ کو اس میں کردار ضرور ادا کرنا چاہیے. جو بھی کمیونٹیز ڈس ایڈوانٹیج ہیں اس میں انٹرونشنز ہونی چاہیے تاکہ وہ انکلوسونیس آ جائے, وہ انکریج ہوں. اس میں آپ کی کمیونٹی کے جو لیڈرز ہیں ان کو کارپوریٹ رسپانسبلٹی کا کردار ادا کرنا چاہیے. جتنے سیٹ اربوں خربوں روپے کما رہے ہیں نا, ان کے ساتھ ہم انگیج کریں گے.
آگے بڑھیں اور آپ کو بتائیں, آمدن سے زائد اثاثہ جات ریفرنس میں احد چیمہ بری ہو گئے ہیں. احتساب عدالت لاہور نے احد چیمہ کی بریت کی درخواستوں پر محفوظ فیصلہ سنا دیا ہے. احتساب عدالت کے جج علی ذوالقرنین اوان نے کیس کی سماعت پر فیصلہ سنایا ہے. آپ کو اپڈیٹ کر رہے ہیں. احتساب عدالت لاہور نے بریت کی درخواستوں پر فیصلہ سنا دیا ہے. آمدن سے زائد اثاثہ جات ریفرنس میں احد چیمہ بری ہو گئے ہیں. احتساب عدالت لاہور نے احد چیمہ کی بریت کی درخواستوں پر محفوظ فیصلہ سنایا. احتساب عدالت کے جج علی ذوالقرنین اوان نے کیس کی سماعت پر فیصلہ سنایا. لاہور ہائی کورٹ کے پی پی 35 وزیر آباد اور پی پی 59 گجرانوالہ کی نئی حلقہ بندیاں کالعدم قرار دے دی گئی ہیں. عدالت نے الیکشن کمیشن کو دوبارہ جائزہ لینے کی ہدایت کر دی ہے. درخواست گزاروں کے وکیل اعظم نذیر تارڑ نے دلائل دیے ہیں. آپ کو اپڈیٹ کر رہے ہیں. لاہور ہائی کورٹ نے پی پی 35 وزیر آباد اور پی پی 59 گجرانوالہ کی نئی حلقہ بندیاں کالعدم قرار دے دیں. عدالت نے الیکشن کمیشن کو دوبارہ جائزہ لینے کی ہدایت کر دی ہے. درخواست گزاروں کے وکیل اعظم نذیر تارڑ نے دلائل دیے. نگران وزیر اعظم انوار حق کاکڑ طلبہ سے خصوصی گفتگو کر رہے ہیں. آپ کو براہ راست لیے چلتے ہیں.
Answer to the public health research, probably it would be based on rhetoric without having real information, because this is not one of the area which is under my prime responsibility. I've delegated this to a ministerial position of Minister of Health and then so on and so forth. But if you ask me that is there any requirement for it, of course it is. It's one of the most important areas. چاہے وہ prevention کی صورت میں ہو, other than that ہو. But specifically if I would be able in a position to give you or enlighten you about a policy, right now I can't do it, but I'm more than happy to share with your moderator or administration, and we can give you the latest status, what is going on, and if there is any feedback and input on that, we would also welcome that. Okay?
Thank you. I would really like someone from one of our educationists to perhaps ask a question. There's a gentleman there. If you could, thank you so much.
My name is Sohail. I'm PhD student.
Mic, please open.
I'm PhD student at KUID, Khan University Institute for Educational Development, and I am from Mardan, Khyber Pakhtunkhwa.
Oh, good.
So
we got GB, we got Balochistan, KP, Punjab. Wow.
And the
What a
gender
random-
representation.
What a random fix. Huh?
So first of all, sir, thank you very much for giving us this opportunity. In fact, it's very few people have such type of opportunity to directly interact with the policymakers, even in fact the leader of the state. So thank you very much. Sir, I have two questions, and I would request you to please, if possible, respond to both of the two questions. And so I'm not from the political background, I'm from the education, so the question are only related to
from the political,
education.
I don't mind.
Okay. So the first question is related to education crisis in the country of Pakistan, and how it is a future national security threat for the country. Sir, recently there were an international examination of trends in international maths and science study, where international global countries have participated, and Pakistan got second position, but from the bottom. So which means that a very rare few students, currently enrolled students in schools have like the ability to understand maths and science. There is another study conducted by the Khan University Institute for Educational Development, which also shows that overwhelming majority of Pakistani students have weak understanding in maths and science. And how the teachers are teaching, it's also in an outdated way. Now, if this country has to develop, अगर future में हमें इस मैथ्स और साइंस टेक्नोलॉजी में ही डेवलप करना है, और जिस हमने देख लिया कि दुनिया के उन लोगों ने तरक्की की जिन्होंने मैथ्स साइंस को अच्छा किया, टेक्नोलॉजी में उन्होंने किया, तो how can with this current crisis in maths and science in the country, don't you think it's a national security threat? And is there any way कि आपकी जो national security councils वगैरह की national security issues discuss होती है, have you ever discussed those such type of issue, and what you have planned? So if you allow me, I can just pose the short question. That is the short question. And that is related to the quality of higher education, and especially in the time when there is a more emphasis on the expansion of universities in Pakistan. And on the other hand, there is a financial crisis in the universities. You must be aware, in the Peshawar University and the Balochistan University and many other universities, they don't have sufficient budget to give for the salary. So what the government is going, and recently in previous government we have seen that there was an amendment to establish new university. As a caretaker Prime Minister, how do you see, and what would be your response? Thank you so much.
I think so, very pertinent questions, both of them.
The first time I've heard you stumped.
I'm bold. The issue is that it's not that I don't have anything to say. But let me start with the Persian verse. You know, there was a famous Persian poet by the name of Mirza Abdul Qadir Bedil. And Bedil, according to the Iqbal, in the age of youth, God saved him from atheism, but it was Bedil. So Bedil is symbol of quite deep and profound poetry with beautiful metaphors. He says, Sukhanha dashtam az dastgai ilm fan Bedil. Sukhanha is a plural. That I have so much to say from the realm of knowledge and skill. He has differentiated between the two. Sukhanha dashtam az dastgai ilm fan Bedil.
खबर शामिल करेंगे। पाकिस्तान स्टॉक मार्केट पहली बार 66,000 पॉइंट से भी बढ़ गई है। स्टॉक मार्केट में ज़बरदस्त तेज़ी का रुझान बरकरार है। आज 1,284 पॉइंट्स का बड़ा इजाफा। मुल्की तारीख में पहली बार इंडेक्स 66,000 की हद उबूर कर गया है। आपको अपडेट कर रहे हैं, पाकिस्तान स्टॉक मार्केट पहली बार 66,000 पॉइंट्स की हद उबूर कर गई है। पाकिस्तान स्टॉक मार्केट पहली बार 66,000 पॉइंट से भी आगे बढ़ गई है। आज 1,284 पॉइंट्स का बड़ा इजाफा देखा गया है। मुल्की तारीख में पहली बार इंडेक्स 66,000 की हद उबूर कर गया है। पाकिस्तान स्टॉक मार्केट पहली बार 66,000 पॉइंट से भी बढ़ गई है। तारीख में पहली बार स्टॉक मार्केट में ज़बरदस्त तेज़ी का रुझान बरकरार नज़र आ रहा है। आपको अपडेट कर रहे हैं, पाकिस्तान स्टॉक मार्केट 66,000 की हद उबूर कर गई है। आज 1,284 पॉइंट्स का बड़ा इजाफा देखा गया है। आपको बराह रास्त लिए चलते हैं कराची, जहां पर निगरान वज़ीर आज़म अनवर हक काकर तुलबा से खुसूसी गुफ्तगू कर रहे हैं।
I've chosen a system which ensures the political positioning because of this constitutional arrangement. I am more interested about my trend on Twitter rather than understanding that what is the importance of science and mathematics for the real edifice of this nation, to which I claim that I am very much committed. So what do? Even if I portray myself that, oh, I am the distinguished and the different one, would it make a difference? No. I'm just an individual. An individual who's been assigned for a limited time span a task which I will do in whatever capacity I can, something good, something not that good, but I'll just retire to the dustbin of the history. But these questions which you are raising, they'll remain. And we do not have any strategic clearance and direction on that. And that is part of the tragedy. Yes, there is a realization when you interact with the people who are responsible for the national security of this country. We do discuss these things on different forums, but those discussions are not translated because of the kind of the political arrangement you have in this country. The discussions are about the constituency based. What is the whole political discourse at this moment? We are just having elections around the corner. Have you seen any mainstream talk show on this topic, that what is the level of understanding of mathematics and science in this country? From all your private media outlets. There is an era of vlogs these days. Have you heard any of the vlog on this topic? So you are a lone individual raising a question, and I'm a lone individual responding to that. वो क्या था कि खूब गुजरेगी जब मिल बैठेंगे दीवाने दो, वो वाली कैफियत है. जनरली मुझे स्पेशलाइज्ड या इन्फॉर्म्ड इंडिविजुअल्स में ये रियलाइजेशन होगी है, लेकिन it is not being translated as a policy, as an implementing arm of the government, and that is the challenge. मुझे जितनी भी समझ हो, एहसास हो, अगर वो ट्रांसलेट ना हो उस इम्प्लीमेंटेशन में पॉलिसीज़ के, क्या फ़ायदा उसका. मैं बहुत खूबसूरत गुफ्तगू यहाँ करके निकल जाऊँगा, आपसे अप्रिसिएशन ले लूँगा, लेकिन मेरे जो 7 साल का बच्चा है उसको 2 + 2 = 4 की समझ नहीं आएगी. वो जो टूल्स उसको चाहिए या बच्ची को वो मिलने चाहिए. इसके लिए एडवोकेसी की ज़रूरत है, अवेयरनेस की ज़रूरत है, आप जैसे लोगों को बोलने की ज़रूरत है. जो आपने अभी किया है, यू हैव कंट्रीब्यूटेड. दिस इज़ द कंट्रीब्यूशन, ऑनेस्ट टू गॉड. आप अपने अलाइंसेस बनाएं, अपने इंस्टीट्यूशन के अंदर अलाइंसेस बनाएं, अपने इंस्टीट्यूशन से बाहर alliances बनाएं, because these are the sort of things which get attention out of a mission, out of a passion. जब तक आपको पैशन इसके पीछे नहीं होगा, nobody would listen. Jolt people.
PTI इंट्रा पार्टी इंतखाबात दोबारा कराने की दरख्वास्त मुस्तरद कर दी गई है। इलेक्शन कमीशन ने अकबर एस बाबर की दरख्वास्त पर फैसला सुना दिया है। इलेक्शन कमीशन का PTI को नोटिस जारी, जवाब तलब कर लिया। PTI इंट्रा पार्टी इंतखाबात दोबारा कराने की दरख्वास्त मुस्तरद कर दी गई है। इलेक्शन कमीशन ने अकबर एस बाबर की दरख्वास्त पर फैसला सुना दिया है। इलेक्शन कमीशन का PTI को नोटिस जारी, जवाब तलब कर लिया गया है। आपको अपडेट कर रहे हैं, अहम खबर है, PTI इंट्रा पार्टी इंतखाबात दोबारा कराने की दरख्वास्त मुस्तरद कर दी गई है। इलेक्शन कमीशन ने अकबर एस बाबर की दरख्वास्त पर फैसला सुना दिया। बराह रास्त जाएंगे कराची, जहां पर अनवर हक काकड़ तलबा से खुसूसी गुफ्तगू कर रहे हैं।
Medical student. I was born in Japan and I was then brought up in Karachi since about 2010. So
You
my
were born in Japan?
Yes. My mom is Japanese.
MashaAllah.
Yes.
Ah.
So my question, I'm a final year medical student. I am soon to graduate, inshallah, next year. And my question is about the lack of employment opportunities in Pakistan, the brain drain, the issue of brain drain in Pakistan, where I would love to work in Pakistan. I consider Pakistan my home. I've been here for all these years. But the issue is you see this mass exodus of students just fleeing the country, seeking better opportunities in countries like the Middle East, in countries like the US and the UK. What do you think the government, what do you think you can do perhaps during your tenure in office about this issue? Thank you.
Thank you. And first of all, don't consider it home. It is home. It's not just a consideration. And you are one of us, you know. And I'm so happy to see you and someone like you who owns Pakistan in the way you are doing it. Please sit. I've been misquoted on the social media on this one also. So at this time I would be very careful what I have to say. I don't see this issue in isolation. I try to be quite pragmatic about it, that why there's a mass migration from point A to point B. And migration has been throughout in human history a reality. The sedentary populations, they have moved from one place to another in search of different and challenging opportunities, driving the ambition to conquer. And then in this modern age, the economic immigration is the primary drive which take people from one place to another. Until and unless you do not have a developed, settled structure back home, there would be people who would be moving from point one to another. Why do these people go either to GCC or to UK or to US? If I have a 7 or 8 years old kid, I want him or her to have access to good education, good infrastructure, relatively secure environment. So these are the 3, 4, 5 factors which are driving people to choose their position of permanent stay. And if any of those indicators are not promising that much, whatever they call home, then you cannot halt this process. But this process is not eternal, it's not perpetual. It has its shelf life. In India, I've been trying to give explanation on this account, that in early 60s, people immigrated towards the Western Hemisphere. They settled in the US, they settled in UK, other European countries, and they spent some 30, 40 good years over there, developed their expertise, gained certain capital, and in the early 90s, when the Indian economy started liberalizing itself, it attracted all of that, and that brain drain become, after 4 decades, its brain assets. Along with their capital and their expertise, they went back, they invested in their home country. Medical tourism is one of the finest going over there, thanks to the doctors who were settled in the US, in the American medical system for 4 decades. Otherwise, they wouldn't have been in a position to offer those services even in the private sector. So if this situation is right now happening with the Pakistan, we need to, one, should not take it with a negative connotation. If a nurse or a doctor or an IT expert is going out into the global supply chain of services, this is what exactly I want. I would be earning through those individuals and it would be contributing into my GDP and overall economic health. So this is not a curse. I don't know why people is projecting as a curse. There is a nuance to that and a sense of despondency is being created that, oh, look at this. The whole young generation is so despondent. They are abandoning their home country and home towns, and they would turn into ghost towns and they will all leave it. This is not going to happen. This process would be quite natural. What we need is to do the due diligence, and wherever the gaps are being created, try to fill those gaps. We are a country of 240 or 250 million people. It's a huge population. If let's say 100,000, 200,000 useful individual goes and settles somewhere else, they have not entirely divorced from your society. They are still connected to your society. From where do we get our remittances of around 18 to 19 billion dollars a year? From the same kind people who left a decade ago or 2 decades ago or 3 decades ago, and they are from the town of Mirpur to other towns who are settled in UK or US or GCC countries. They are actually our assets. So these are the new assets which we are developing, or in an organic manner they are being developed. So I do not see it with a negative connotation, but at the same time we need to develop our own infrastructure, make the indicators better, and one area is to export services to earn money, not the whole of it. The rest of the GDP has to be focused on, and the domestic produce has to be made better.
I think we'll take one last question from this side. I feel like we've ignored this side. So the lady in front, thank you.
Assalamu alaikum. Sorry.
Aram se baith jao.
Thank you, Honorable Prime Minister. Jazakallah for giving us the opportunity. We are really grateful to have you. I'm Amna Sohail and I'm from Karachi. I'm a final year dental hygiene student at AKU. To give you a brief intro of what dental hygiene is, it was initiated in 2015 with the intent of preventative care, emphasizing the role and importance of oral health. So my question to you would be regarding the absence of licensing body in Pakistan for this profession. What steps can be taken to ensure that there is a standardization of framework in Pakistan? Secondly, regarding the use of smokeless tobacco, पान, गुटखा, चालिया, तंबाकू, नस्वार, ये सब कराची में बहुत ज़्यादा prevalent है.
Thank God she didn't ask for cigars.
तो इसके लिए हम क्या कर सकते हैं? What can the government do to regulate? And yeah, thank you so much.
First of all, let me share that I have appointed a SAPM on medical education and patient care. He's a professional. I'm sure many of you would be knowing Dr. Amir Bilal. He's a cardiothoracic surgeon. And one of the area was that licensing, imparting medical education, not just in the dental arena, but otherwise the entire medical profession, undergrad, postgrad, and the rest. And the kind of a mushroom growth these private businesses and the kind of a harm they have done to the produce which we are having clearly shows our commitment that we give a priority to this area. Again, with your specific query, I don't have something at the back of my mind, but if you are interested, we can link you to the SAPM's office, and your inputs would be very much encouraged, and we would welcome that, and even anyone else also. And he probably would be on a visit here in Karachi also, and I can arrange a meeting
Thank you.
with Al Khan University and other professionals also. So you can have a discussion on all the details and give your valuable inputs also there. Yeah? Okay.
I think we do have to end, and I want to just appreciate the Honorable Prime Minister for your candor and really just the insight that you've been able to provide to us. This conversation could go on for hours, and I'm happy to do so, but and I'll apologize to all the students for the questions that we couldn't take, but I think the Prime Minister has been very open to receiving those kinds of comments and feedback and questions, and with his permission, I'll be happy to send them over to your office if you would like to continue to answer some of these difficult questions.
Please. I mean, I have a number which is available on the Google, so you can directly WhatsApp to me also. It's not an issue.
So we'll end here by thanking the Prime Minister for taking the time out to be with us. I want to thank everyone.